Pretty good.
Oh, great.
What are you teaching?
What?
I know
This year, I don't
So who's going to be, I guess, the House impeached my Homeland Security Secretary.
He did.
Yeah.
Right? It's not
Right. No, and I think that he can continue to serve. I don't know if the Senate has to do something, but he can actually even continue.
No, I can't believe it. That was registered to be
and now the GOP, some of the leaders are saying, you still support
Your makeup. Finally. I remember when that store opened, people on next door were excited. Oh, we're going to have a Mac store, thinking it was like a library. Oh, the women. Then left you to do it.
I even got to go on vacation.
Yeah, right.
At 11 in the morning. How you doing? Good to see you.
Oh, the other interpreter too.
The other interpreter is from
Hi.
I was doing taxes up to the last.
Oh my goodness.
I was buying birds. Young person, a lot of feet.
Who's gonna know? He's gonna bring the book of the play.
The show is not.
Well,
Right now.
It is now, yeah. It is now. Right, that's
The damn good talk. The whole
Good experience.
yeah, right.
Yes, no.
Hello, everyone. Don't want to break up this happy hour, but we want to get started. So take your seats, please.
I don't trust you.
All right, well, the back of the room sits down in a moment. I'll get started and like to call the meeting to order. Call the meeting. Can you hear me back? No? You can't hear me? Oh, we have sound only on one side of the room. Hello? My sound person is leaving. No sound over here.
If it's not working, then it might be out of it.
Can you all hear me over there?
Just shout loud.
All right.
Let them out.
When you're quiet, I'm loud.
Yeah, I'm loud.
All right, we'll call the meeting to order and approve this agenda, which has been modified since it was published, so you'll forgive that. And she's going to work behind me. Motion to approve this agenda. Paul, thank you. In a second. And your name, Bob? Okay. Our secretary is facing you tonight so he can hear everything you say and record it. Something new. All right. Reminder that the clipboard is going around. Please sign it. Oh, okay. See, that's why he's here. All in favor of the agenda, say aye. Aye. Any opposition? Thank you. All right. Yes, the clipboard's going around. Please sign in. We're looking into ways to make a more technology appropriate check-in process. More to follow on that, but I think it's time to move to that level. But anyway, for now, it's a clipboard, so please fill it out. I'd like to move on to the approval of the minutes of the January meeting. Thank you for coming back. Appreciate you all coming back from the last meeting. Is there a motion to approve said minutes? Carlene, thank you. And second was, can't see your name for the record, Rob. Okay, all in favor? Opposed? All right, good. Moving along. My comments are going to be brief to allow for, we have a double feature in speakers tonight we're excited about. But I do want to ask, and it's not on the agenda, but do we have any new visitors? Anybody new here tonight that's not been here before? Yes, sir, who are you? And that cookie.
My name is Colin Wright. I just joined this week or this month. I am representing Canyon Corridor. He's been inactive for 2 years.
Thank you. And we'll get you a name tag soon. Yes, sir.
My name is Rob Biaggi. I joined the board of Rinrock just about a year ago, and I also became the treasurer yesterday.
Congratulations. Good. Yes, ma'am.
I'm Jan Bruner, and I'm here today as my kids say for joining. And I'm in Palm Springs Village too.
And I want to thank Lisa, put you on the spot for recruiting her to join. Yes. Watch out for Lisa. She gets on the phone. She's good on the phone and in person, but yeah. Okay. Anybody else that's new? Sorry. Yes, sir.
Hi, I'm Dave Manley. I live in Oasis Del Sol, and I'm on the board of our neighbors association.
Excellent. Thank you. Thank you. Oh, excellent. I want to talk to you. We're neighbors. Oh, yes.
And I'm Laura Svedberg. I'm taking Chris's place from Movie Colony East since he now got elevated to this exalted position.
Thank you, Lori. All right. And yes, ma'am.
Might be the last, Annette Bain from Rockefeller Estates.
Wonderful. Behind you. Perfect. Wow, new people. Dozen of them. This is good. We're gonna need a bigger room. All right, I will keep this moving. So Joy is here again to talk about the picnic, and we have her early on because she has to go represent us at another meeting. We should be thanked. But before I forget, and before Bob throws a dart at me, we have this little sheet here, another clipboard, requesting volunteers to help out at the picnic, take different shifts. And I know you're going to talk about that, among other things.
Good afternoon, everybody. Very nice to see you. Woohoo! I'm going to just do the fun stuff. So picnic, which is why I do it. It's the fun thing. So if you haven't been involved in it before, please come. Please have your neighborhood, have a booth. And it's a wonderful way to meet your neighbors and just see what Palm Springs really has to offer. I know I see a lot of you that have been before, but we love to see you. So, and we need volunteers for the registration booth. We need volunteers for the 1PS booth. There's going to be a clipboard going around. It might already be.
It's over starting with Cynthia over on that side.
Okay, starting over there. So please do that because really we can't do it without you. So we really need your help and it's a lot of fun. Also, there are some flyers, I believe, on the back table. It discusses the best neighborhood booth competition and some tips. So that's something new we started last year. And just let you know, Movie Colony East plans on getting it this year.
There we go.
Lori? Okay. Also, we have the dog contest. So dress up your dog and come on down. Which reminds me, one time we had a potbelly pig contest downtown with a dozen pigs. That did not go over quite as well as a dog contest. But honestly, that's what we had at the time. So, okay. And then also there are some booth ideas on that sheet that was probably made by Bob Farron because we definitely couldn't do this without him. We're still looking for sponsorships. So please send your forms as soon as you can. Our goal is to raise $10,000, and that's to pay for the food and everything else involved with the event. There are no people that get paid, only services that need to be covered. Oh, and Denise Goolsby is awesome, by the way. She's our staff person there. For food this year, we have, as in some previous years, Mika's Soul Kitchen, Baja Springs, Aspen Mills, and new this year, we have the Sandwich Spot, which is certainly a favorite of Palm Springs. So we're glad that they signed up with us. Excited about that. The Remax balloon will be returning. And so that was some fun too, until it gets windy in the afternoon. And, you know, if you've been there, you know what happens then. And rather unpleasant. I believe one time a car that was tied down helping anchor it actually lifted off the ground. So that was unpleasant. For real, for real. So they got a whole new way of doing that stuff now. So, and insurance forms. Yeah. So please sign up to volunteer and send in your forms as soon as you can. We tend to get a lot of things at the very last minute, but it makes me really nervous because I want to make sure that we could just cover our expenses here. It's something that is a beloved event. And also, thanks for bringing dog treats to this meeting. I guess there are some. And thank you in advance for bringing them to the next meeting, which will be the week before the event. And we use those for the prizes for the dog show. Does anybody have any questions real quick? Oh, I was going to be happy. I could just tell you the year was 2024. So it's just been a crazy day. I believe it is the 15th year. Is that correct? 15th, yeah. So yeah, absolutely awesomeness. So if you want to call me, my number is 760-333-6820. Call me anytime. I get lonely sometimes. Don't call me in the middle of the night. My phone rings. My husband doesn't like it. And he wonders who was that man on the phone. So maybe it was one of you. I don't know. So that's all. If there's no questions, we're done. The picnic's just about having fun and meeting neighbors. So just enjoy. And Shen is with us this year too. So we have a really great committee. April as well, who is probably sitting at her dispatcher seat right now at the police department. So thank you.
All right. And thank you, Joy, for your years of service at this picnic. It is kind of the hood ornament, if you will, the 1PS. Everyone thinks of it as the 1PS picnic, which yes, it is. But it's really our town hall feel-good event. So thank you for all your support. So we have two topics tonight, and I would alert you that if you have any overdue library books from 3rd grade, now's the time to pull them out, because we have the city librarian, Ginny Kays, who's going to talk about the exciting update of our main library. So let's hear it for Ginny. Thank you.
Hi, thank you, everybody. I'm Jeannie Kays. I'm the library director at the Palm Springs Public Library, and I have slides today. Let's get them rolling. Don't read the notes. Don't read the notes. Just kidding. Okay, so do you know where the library is? I hope you do. It's right down there. You could almost walk. Some of you could walk. I don't know, but we are at 300 South Sunrise in Sunrise Park, right at the corner of Sunrise and Bristow. pslibrary.org or palmspringslibrary.org if you want to look up our website. My notes are way out here and I'm a little squirrely today. So, and this thing's like 8 feet tall. So hi out there. We are open 6 days a week, Tuesdays and Wednesdays in the evenings. Tidbit of trivia: you do not have to be a Palm Springs resident to have a Palm Springs library card. Did you know that? In the olden days you did, and they were like, where do you live? Well, you can live in California, anywhere in California, and you can have a free library card, which is kind of cool because you can do library card tourism, and you can go to San Diego and get a library card, LA, San Francisco, all these different places and get library cards. But ours is the best, of course. And one of our features that we have is the New York Times Online. So yes, dun, dun, dun. This is worth every penny you've paid to be here. So we get a grant from the California State Library to provide New York Times digital access free of charge to you. And this is how you do it. So we have a 3-day pass. So you navigate through our website to get the pass. You go to our website, which was Anybody remember? pslibrary.org. Very good. And you scroll down and it looks like a mobile app and there's a little blue box that says New York Times. And if you can't see it, it's right there. It's right there. It is. There it is. It's there and it works because I did it today. So I wanted to let you know that that is available for you. I recommend getting a free login account at the New York Times so that once you jump through the hoops to get your pass, it's really easy to connect and go online. Say that again. The archive. No, but I like how you're thinking. But you can get the Desert Sun archive for free through our website. So once you click on this button, it looks like this, and then you'll redeem that code and then jump through the hoops. So New York Times, terrific access resource for you. We also have ebooks. We have regular books too. We have over 100,000 regular books at the library, but we have ebooks through an app called Libby. It's formerly Overdrive, but Libby's cuter. And so we have 17,560 digital items on this app, 8,500 ebooks, 4,000 audiobooks, and almost 5,000 magazines. And so you check it out, transfer it to your mobile device, your phone, your tablet, your computer, and then you just read it and there are no fines. And who has overdue books? Just bring them back. We're fine free. You don't have to worry about paying the 25-cent fine anymore or the 10-cent fine. So far, raise your hand if you learned something about the library today. Of course you did, because that's why I'm here. It's so exciting. I do love my job. Okay, sorry. I'm a little weird. I love it so much. I love libraries so much. And I want you to love the library too. It is February, Valentine's Day. Love your library. Now, this has been a constant question about where to give the money. It doesn't matter. Just give it. We have the Friends of the Library, which has been a nonprofit organization since 1971 or something. And the foundation, which has been in operation about 5 to 7 years. And the Friends, so you're like, well, what's the difference? Well, they both support the library, just in different ways. So the Friends do program support, like summer reading, hot off the press, the koi pond. Who loves the koi? We all love the koi. The little kids come in and they say, hi, fishies. And then when they leave, they go, bye, fishies. It's so cute. So the Friends do teen STEAM makerspace supplies. Like I said, hot off the press, summer reading, various programs, Palm Springs Peaks. I'll tell you about that in a second. And the foundation does things like technology improvements. This is what they're going to do. Capital campaign, naming rights, and also endowments. They're going to set up some endowments once they raise all the money to help us renovate that library, which I am here to talk about. But first, the raffle. So Friends of the Library have a speaker series. It's called Palm Springs Speaks. We had Temple Grandin earlier this year, and we're going to round out our season with Terry McMillan and Billy D. Williams. So Terry McMillan is the author of Waiting to Exhale, How Stella Got Her Groove Back. Oh yes, I have paper things in the back for you to take. Rack cards, monthly flyers. We've got our March schedule already published and ready for you to take home and put on your refrigerator. So Terry McMillan is going to be February 27th, 2 weeks from tonight. And then Billy D. Williams is going to be the next week, March 7th. I'm so excited. They're going to be in conversation with local celebrities. So Terry McMillan will be with Will Dean, and then Billy D. Williams will be with Manny the Movie Guy. So it's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be at the Camelot, the Cultural Center. And I'm wondering, does everybody have a raffle ticket? Does anybody need a raffle ticket? Raise your hand if you need a raffle ticket. So I'm going to do a drawing for Terry McMillan tickets. And then I'm going to do a drawing for Billy D. Williams tickets. And what I'll need from you is your name and your email address.
Anybody else?
at some point, so I can send you an email with the tickets. Let's see. I was, somebody here says, oh, we'll do the thing. Where's your library card? And you don't have a prize. I don't have any prizes, but I hope you have library cards. Real quick, time for question? The VIP meet and greet starts at 6 p.m. and then the lecture starts at 7:30. So depending on which tickets you get, if you want to do the VIP meet and greet, you need to be there for it to start at 6. And then 7:30. Everybody, we already had those stubs in here. That's right. Denise and I worked in cahoots together. I mean, all right. Can you draw for me? Draw one.
Not right here.
Let's see. 8363-003. 3003. Oh, Denise is now checking her ticket. Oh, there's on the floor, Denise. 3003.
Yep, that is, but I'll refer it to somebody else.
It is Denise. All right, let's
Wow.
try again. That's cool. 836-2990. This is for Terry McMillan. 2990.
Check your other pocket, Chief.
Drawing it. I know, I'm trying to be quick. Everybody win. 836-2976.
Right here?
Yay! And then we're going to draw for Billy D. Williams, Lando Calrissian, Star Brian Song, Lady Sings the Blues, Mahogany, 836-3002.
I had that one too.
Denise Louise. Well, she was in charge of helping me pass them out.
Here, do this one.
Okay, 836-2975.
Denise has it.
2975. 2975. And yay! Okay, congratulations, and I'll hook up with you in a minute. You want to give it to somebody else? All right, draw another door.
Okay, now we're good. Don't.
This is great. I love it. 836-2989.
Say it again, please.
2989. Yay! Okay, I got my 2 winners in the back of the room. Okay, next. Ooh. Gee, isn't this what you wanted to hear? Library renovation. Okay, so what I'm showing you. Well, first of all, let me talk about the library. It's built in 1975. It's old. Yeah, we're old. We 70s people. The library's old. It has had one refresh in 1995. It got new carpet. We still have carpet that is from 1995. It's purple. 34,000 square feet of purple carpet. And it's held up actually, but we are in dire need of updates. The plumbing is 1975, the electricity, the HVAC. There were no computers in 1975. I mean, maybe they were as big as this room. Okay, we don't have data ports. We don't have electrical outlets in the right places. No fire sprinklers. No fire sprinklers in the building. Chief Alvarado. He's got me covered. I'm on fire watch constantly. But we need updates to the ADA accessibility. We need a seismic retrofit. It's not mandatory. It's optional, so don't panic. But we're going to do it because we need to. And I'm not even kidding. At least $2 million just to fix the cracked concrete on the outside of the building. So if you come to the library, look around, you see like pieces of concrete popping off because the rebar's rusted, and so they need to fix it and seal it, and it's going to cost at least $2 million just for that. So it's a major renovation. It's not just new carpet. So it's going to take a lot of work, and the city's been very gracious in helping us support this project, and we're very excited about it. We're not going to expand the footprint of the building So it's big enough. It's a good sized building. And this slide that you're seeing here is what the architects have given us as like it's a rendering of what the study rooms could look like. Because we don't have any small meeting places. We don't have a room big enough for you guys. Wouldn't that be nice to have a place to come at the library and have little small meetings or large meetings like this? We just don't have room for it. Now this picture that you're seeing, they removed some of the bookcases so that you could see what the study rooms look like. We'll still have books and bookcases, but that's just an example of one of the features that we need to add is study rooms. This is a view looking the other direction at the currently our computer room. We want to make it into the children's room. So it'll be a really nice place with a patio next door to it and a really fun place to go. And that's something that the foundation is going to help us do, is help us escalate the children's room from the Chevrolet plan to the Cadillac plan, we hope. So we're hoping that they're going to do a fundraiser for that. And we're going to work this year, 2024, to do the design phase and get construction documents ready to go to bid. And then once the bids are in, we hope that City Council will approve a municipal bond. It's like a mortgage. And then we'll begin construction. So we'll probably be under construction. Don't quote me on this, but probably 2 years. So we're going to look for temporary library. We're going to be out in the community, doing programs, working with our community centers to keep everybody libraried, I guess, if you will. And we're going to keep you educated about what's going on our city's Engage Palm Springs website, which is wonderful. Yes, Corinne? So the computers are going to go, we think they're just going to go out in the main room, around the room. So we haven't designed it yet. So we still got that part to go. So I'll tell you about what we're going to be working on next, but too. This is a rendering of just a first dream of our architects working with Rios Architecture. You might be familiar with them. They did the downtown park, and they've done Sunnylands. And so this, they're going to work with our community to develop a comprehensive landscape plan that melds perfectly into the rest of Sunrise Park and the overall parks master plan. And like I said, this is just one brainstorm idea, but we're going to do the next round of community input sessions. And this is what I want to tell you about. We're going to be working on those late March, early April. We're going to do another survey. We're going to have in-person opportunities for to hear about projects and feedbacks. And we're going to be at the picnic with our architects. So that'll be fun for you guys to interact with them, ask questions, put the little stickers on the different things. And we're going to talk about color palette and landscape theme. And so that's the fun part that I really love to do. So I think that's all I have. And I will answer questions, but be sure to come see us. And this picture is from the olden days when the fish pond was a fountain after they installed railings. It didn't even have railings. Someone fell in, so they had to put in railings. And this was where the original entrance was on the south side and the bookshelves went the other way. And so it's just kind of a fun picture, but I'm happy to answer questions. And again, come see us at the library. Take a look at it. We still got lots of fun stuff, even though 1975 plumbing and 1995 carpet. Yes.
Is it true that librarians were the original search engines?
Yes, we were. Did you watch Desk Set? Is that the movie?
Yeah.
With Katharine Hepburn, and they tried to replace the librarians with computers. Hi, Kat.
Hi, Jamie. Do you take books at the library? I mean, do you take
Donations? Yes, we take donations. Our friends of the library, that's how they make a lot of their money. They take your donations, and then if we don't add the books to the collection, we sell them in the Friends Used Bookstore, which is open every day. And the money goes to support the library. It's a really great way to be sustainable.
About a 3/4 of the Desert Sun.
Oh, the Desert Sun. So if you go to our website, palmspringslibrary.org or pslibrary.org, there is a link on there for accessing the past, and that is our digital history project. And we worked with the California Digital Newspaper Project to digitize the Desert Sun. So we have 1938 currently to 1985, fully digitized, keyword searchable. The topics were about the same, but the dates changed. They're complaining about solar in the 70s. Yes.
Are there any plans to make the meeting room bigger?
Oh, yes. So what would happen is the current children's room will become our community room. And so then our capacity would be at around 200 instead of 90. So yes, the current, where the children's room is right now at the front of the current front of the library. Then the kids' room moves out and that becomes our community room. And unless someone wants to give us like 22 million, and then we'll build an event center. Get your checkbooks. Oh, question.
So the library contents will be moving out to a temporary location for what, a couple of years?
Probably, honestly. I worked at the Palm Desert Library when they did their renovation. I was a city librarian there, and we did the same thing. And it's better to just leave because they turn off the power, the water, there's concrete dust everywhere, there's yelling and no air conditioning. And so it's better to just vacate and let them do it, and it'll go faster. So we'll put, I'm estimating that we'll put a lot of the collection in storage, and we'll have like a core collection of popular materials, and then just have a smaller temporary location, and then do outreach events all around town. Yeah.
Strange question. How did the rebar manage to rust in our desert environment encased in concrete?
It does rain every now and then.
Yeah, but that doesn't
So
explain it.
it's 1975, it's bare concrete. If you were driving along a street, streets pop up, and expansion, contraction, science. I don't know. But concrete does expand. It expands and it contracts. It's very hot. Yeah. No offense, but it just happened. Thank you guys so much.
Who knew libraries could be so much fun? All right. Pivoting here, how many here have grass or lawns in their properties? Not too many. Well, Clark Elliott's here from DWA, and he's going to talk about how to get rid of your grass. Maybe.
Perfect. Give me 1 second. All right, so this is not necessarily as much fun as all your options to taking out your grass. This is going to talk more about reasons you might have to, even if you don't want to. So what I'm going to talk about today is kind of a rider on the Making Water Conservation a Way of Life legislation. During the last drought, they also made a rule about non-functional turf. And that rule has been legislated. So that is now a new law, Assembly Bill 1572. It was passed in October. It prohibits watering non-functional grass with potable water. So if you do not have recycled water, you have potable water or water you could drink. It is aiming to help California meet its conservation goals. And probably the most critical question on this slide is, what is non-functional grass? So how the state is defining it is turf that is not regularly used for recreational purposes or for civic or community events. So if you're not regularly using your grass, then it could potentially be considered non-functional. Who does this regulation apply to? So it applies to all commercial, industrial, and institutional properties. So that includes cities, government properties, our own property. But probably more critical for this group, it also applies to a homeowner association common areas. So that was added to legislation, and currently if your homeowners association is watering, they have to be able to say that that water, that grass they're watering is functional and is regularly being used by the community. So there is some time to comply, but as we all know, time flies, and all of these deadlines are going to come sooner than we potentially think. For those who have a commercial property, that deadline is January 1st, 2028. For those who are in a homeowners association, that deadline is 2029. At that point, you're going to have to start reporting to the state and validating which areas you have that you're considering functional or non-functional. Now, I will say that probably some areas, most people might agree that they're non-functional, like a median or something like that, or just a little strip of grass. Some areas you're going to have to do a little bit more work to define. At this point, Desert Water Agency, as the person trying to help the state, trying to inform people, we're not enforcing anything, but we're kind of leaving up what is functional and non-functional to each individual HOA community. That said, another question that we get a lot is, does this apply to residential properties? And the answer is no. If you have a residential property, it does not apply to you. And if you're wondering why, and that doesn't quite seem fair, that is up to your legislators. So I did not make that decision, but it does not apply to residential properties. So there are some exemptions written into it. I will say that both of these are pretty high bars to reach. So if you have a property that was not specifically designed to meet these, pretty unlikely that you do. I don't want to say it's impossible, but both of these need to be either a specifically bought grass species or essentially an irrigation system that's probably subsurface, that doesn't have any spray above the ground. So what can your community do to be compliant? So if you fall under this or you think you may fall under it, the first thing to do is to start identifying these non-functional areas. You can work with a landscaper to get a design on what you want to do. You do still have until that 2028 or 2029 deadline. You can work to get city approval on whatever program you're going to do. And you can apply for our grass removal incentive program. So currently we are getting $3 per square foot removed. And the city of Palm Springs is also offering an additional $1. So that totals out to $4 per square foot. That is the best in the valley, but we do recommend that you start thinking about it now. So you would wait for our approval email. So you cannot take out any grass until you get an approval from us. Then you can start working to remove your grass. So this is going to kind of give you more information about this. It's going to kind of give you a guide that the state created that answers a lot of more questions than I have the time to do now. But essentially, the state has already created some commonly asked questions, and it's going to at least give you a little bit of an idea of things that people are thinking about. Yeah. Now, here's my information. So if you want to give me a call, you can always do that. You can also reach us at conservation@dwa.org. But I am here to help you. So if you think that you have a community that's going to have a hard time meeting these goals, or it's going to be a real struggle, I am here to help you. I can't specifically tell you what's functional and non-functional, like down to the blade of grass, but I will work to help you out. So we do audits, we do walkthroughs with HOA communities, and that's a great option if you're concerned about meeting these red deadlines. So with that, are there any questions?
Yeah. Is dog walking part of the functional? We're having a dispute at our HOA about this.
So usually what I say is that if the only person touching that grass is your landscaper and your dogs, you probably want to go one step higher than that and say, we're using it for something else in addition to that. So this legislation is tied to what was originally a Nevada legislation, and they were targeting specifically that kind of grass that only really dogs are using. Now, what that additional thing is, it could be, you know, hey, we're having a yoga class or something to that effect, or our grandkids or kids are playing on it, something you like that. It doesn't necessarily have to be that, you know, you're using it every day, but I would be thinking more about it than just my dog uses it.
I see.
When are you going to start enforcing?
So at this point, DWA doesn't intend to enforce it. The state itself is going to start enforcing it. So no water agency, as far as I'm aware, in the valley has wanted to be the sole enforcement agency, but the state has said that they will take on that role when those deadlines come. So that would be January 1st, 2028 for commercial properties and January 1st, 2029 for HOA common areas.
Canyon View Estates is going to be built down by the Vaughn Shopping Center. They've already been told to put grass in for a dog park. So now when they go back to the planning commission, will that be taken out and the other grass they want to put around the outside?
So I would say, and this is this is a little bit of a nuance on my previous answer. Because that grass is specifically designed to be a dog park that's regularly being used by dogs, it's a little bit more than just this grass is used by our dogs when we happen to walk by. I don't think that that would be something that would be questioned necessarily under this legislation. That said, I don't have any role in the city approval process for a project like that. So
I would argue that dog walking in the middle of the summer needs the coolness of the grass for both the dogs and the people. And the people who are walking the dogs that happens to be, for many of them, part of their cardiac health system. So I'm seeing that we have a conflict between the health and welfare of our public as well as the aesthetics of it.
So yeah, just to address that a little bit. So I will say that I'm not making the ultimate determination of what's functional or non-functional. Ultimately, that's going to be the state. It's just my recommendation that if you are using those areas for cardiac activity, walking, doing all that kind of stuff, that you bring that along with what your dogs are using it for, because I think that the additional uses of grass areas are going to be beneficial when you're reporting to the state.
Yeah, it's at least 10 degrees cooler on the grass.
No, and I understand, and I'm not necessarily saying that the areas that are regularly used for that have to be removed, but I will say that the state is going to start looking at that, if that makes sense.
And who might I contact in the state about that?
Frank Wallace, Assembly, and
Probably a state rep.
So the actual regulators are the State Water Resources Control Board. I would reach out to someone on their staff. I don't have a particular name, unfortunately, but reach out to them regarding non-functional turf if you would really like to. But to be honest, I do think that your legislators might be actually a better avenue to really affect change if you wanted to do something like that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Not a dry topic at all. All right, keeping it fun. All right, moving on, our favorite moment, one of our favorite moments is membership discussion topics, mouthful. When you can speak up for a few moments about anything going on in your neighborhood that the city or 1PS may not know about, you want to alert us to. Shan, I think you had something just to lead off, please.
I got, there was a message from a neighborhood person in Demuth Park about all the supplies laid out in the parking lot for months and months to put up new lighting in there. And it's delaying sporting groups, youth groups. This is like the third year that the soccer and baseball has gotten delayed because the city will only call them to let them know they're reseeding a few days before when they've got scheduled. So we were hoping to find out if that stuff through the whole parking lot is going to be installed anytime soon so the kids can play in the evenings. They're looking to pay to play baseball in other cities because they can't be sure that they can play in the dark in the evenings here. So the lighting, and could we create communication around when reseeding is going to happen so that the sporting teams can have a tiny bit of notice and then schedule their games around that. So I'll let whoever wants to address that later.
Right now, we'll just take the topics, but
Yep.
thank you for bringing that up.
Okay.
Any other issues brewing out there?
Lori,
Yes.
Those folks who live near the hospital, recently there was a manhunt for an escaped patient. And a few people in our neighborhood were a little bit alarmed because they couldn't understand what the helicopter was blasting through the bullhorn. And they didn't know what they were supposed to be doing. And I guess the request is, if there's going to be a helicopter blasting announcements to stay in or be on the lookout, could they please text as well or email through the Nixle or Everbridge system so that people have something written? They couldn't understand the words coming out of the helicopter. So just a request.
Right.
What we could understand is if they said stay inside, and so it was incredulous. When we went outside, and of course all the neighbors were standing outside. But I do want to say that the chief has addressed this, he's sent an email that this was a Cathedral City police issue, that the Palm Springs Police Department would generally have much better communication than this, but it was really scary. So if you happen to hear them say get in your house out of a helicopter, it was kind of crazy. But the chief has addressed it somewhat, and I don't remember if I sent it to the board as well, but I will if I did.
Great. Charlie?
We've had several problems with the car dealerships over the years. And every time we've called the city, we've had great response. They cooperate. And then along came Porsche. And at 4:14 in the morning, you hear the backup, you hear the delivery trucks. But Ron, they found an answer and a solution.
Thanks. I live in Horizon Mobile Village, which borders the property line with Palm Springs Porsche. And between 4:30 in the morning and 6:30 in the morning, 6 mornings out of 7 for a year, these noisy commercial trucks have been making deliveries. So one morning, just had enough, and I set my alarm early, grabbed my extension ladder, put it up against the wall at 4:30 in the morning, and started filming. Within minutes, beep, beep, here comes that truck, right where I expected it coming. As I'm filming, the driver gets out, he looks at me a little funny, and walks over and he says, "Do you need something?" I said, "As a matter of fact, I do." I've been working with code enforcement and others to get this noise, these violations, to stop at this time of day. He looked kind of puzzled and he said, I haven't been told anything about noise violations by the dealership. I'm a contractor, not a Porsche employee, and I certainly don't want to cause any problems for your neighbors. And he stepped back, and this young guy said, why don't I just pull straight in, make my delivery, and pull straight out without backing up. Brilliant solution, easy solution at 4:30 in the morning by a young guy.
Okay, well, thank you for all those reports. We know they will be addressed. Keeping it moving along, we're running a little late. I wanted Lisa to come forward and give us a quick update. Oh, before I forget, clipboard, if you haven't signed in, that's roaming around, please.
Where's the clipboard for the picnic?
Picnic clipboard, where are you? Over here. We need a balloon attached, maybe, and where you can follow the room. All right, Lisa.
Thank you very much. Hi, I'm Lisa Huff, and for all the new people who are here today, in case you didn't know, 1PS will be participating in the Black History Parade and Fair on Saturday, February 24th. And thanks to the efforts of Patrick, where's Patrick? Hi, wave to people. We're going to be in the parade. He was able to work with one of the vintage car companies, and we're going to have a Rolls-Royce Corniche convertible. And our volunteers to ride in them are Megan and Cynthia. You guys want to say hello, just so people know who you are? Yay. Thank you very much. And we're also going to have a booth at the fair. And in case any of the new people don't understand why we're doing this, Palm Springs is a community of diversity, and 1PS wants to be able to support that diversity. And so we're very happy to participate in this particular program. thank all the people. I would like to thank all the people who have volunteered to do booth duty. I could use a couple more of you. So at the end of today, I don't have anything floating around, but if you could just stop by, it's just a 2-hour shift. It would be really great if you could participate with us. And again, thank you for everyone who's already stepped up to help.
Thank you, Lisa.
Thank you. And super quick, we, on our list of goals and objectives for the new year, we wanted to create these community forums, which is another word for a committee, a better word, to get input on topics of interest in the community. And one that has surfaced, it's been around for a while, is I didn't know this term, a food desert. We live in a desert, but we have a disproportionately lower number of grocery stores and food options in the northern part of town. And as the city can't go any further south because of our mountains, we're moving north. And so as we move north, more and more people have less access to grocery and so forth. So this is something where we're inviting everybody in 1PS to join in the conversation about solutions and so forth. So I want to announce that. Not enough time tonight to get into it, but you want to see me afterward, we can talk about it more. All right, at long last, sorry to keep the mayor waiting, but I'd like to have our city leadership first with our mayor and our city manager. So please welcome.
Is it on? Yep. Okay. Just to answer, I don't know, I couldn't hear what Joy said, but the helicopters were not our police. I think they were county, and we didn't know about that. So apparently somebody was apprehended, put in an ambulance, and they did not put any law enforcement inside the ambulance with this person who had escaped. So he escaped. Anyway, and I'm not sure what those lights are, but there are new recreation lights going on in Demuth and the stadium. The sports teams were notified about the lights. I don't know about the receiving. But the good news is we're gonna have brand new lighting at Demuth Park and the stadium as part of a Measure J
So can
project.
I tell them a when? Because it's been there a long time.
Scott's gonna give you the
Okay,
when.
all right. I just have to report back.
I don't know, but it's a big project. It's a $5 million project that came out of Measure J. So, and one of the things Joy talked about the picnic. After the picnic is going to be a big event at the Art Museum. They're going to have a public party for the unveiling of the Luminaire House with food trucks and other things going on. So you can just keep going all day long. Same day down at the Art Museum. Couple of things that have happened on City Council. I don't know if anybody watched the January 25th meeting with the College of the Desert presentation. If you didn't, I would suggest go looking it up. It was a very inspiring, exciting presentation. They are planning to break ground this year. They are planning to have their first students there in 2027. It is a $405 million project. It is very interesting how they're really looking towards how this will be a college of the future. So it's a very interesting space. They're collaborating with the school district. For those of you who don't know, it's across the street from the school, high school. High school students get free tuition into their first year at the College of the Desert, and they can do classes while they're there. So this is pretty important, especially considering 97% of our school kids are at poverty level. So it is great. And I think there's a State of the College update on February 29th, same night as our council meeting, but I think that's televised. And there's a great video, which I think they're going to show about what the campus rendering, sort of a live action rendering of what the campus will look like. And it's culinary arts. They're working on a 5-year architecture program in conjunction with one of the California schools. And and also they're actually looking at BA programs. And it turns out that they can do, the rules are that they offer bachelors that don't compete with the UC system. So one of the first ones they're looking at is a Bachelor of Casino Management, which, is a lot of good jobs, and it would be the only such degree in California. but it's, you know, it's good. We also unveiled the choice for the airport master plan. 1A was chosen, which will keep the Wexler building as what they call the head house, the main entrance and exit, as the main functional space. It is a 20-year project, basically. The first phase would be about 4 or 5 years after the end of the master plan, which is the end of this year. But it will, expectation is not that it's going to drive, but it will meet the natural demand, which is doubling the passengers in our airport over the 20 years. Which, by the way, a third of those passengers are local residents. So it's not all tourists. I did want to mention there is more discussion of the automatic license plate readers in private places, HOAs, and neighborhoods. We already approved them for the police. That was discussed. It's going to come back to City Council with some issues, a lot of privacy issues about what's going on. The Plaza Theater, as those of you know, is being renovated. They have not been able to sell their seats. They have donated a number of ones to theaters. There is a day, I think they're picking maybe at the end of this month, where they're going to be offered free to anybody who wants to come and get a Plaza Theater seat. So look for news on that. People like to collect things. That is going to happen. We're also doing an agreement to move the LGBTQ Food Bank Center. They do it every Tuesday? Thursday. So it's going to move to a new building, which is the city has on East Alejo, almost all the way at the airport, which will give them a bigger space. It'll be more functional, be better for them. The other thing we approved this month, late, but we did it. The Black History flag is now flying in all city buildings. And this February, there was just we had started working on it the end of last year, and everybody thought it was being done, and it required a resolution of City Council. So we did that, and it will be flying for 30 days. It'll go into the first week of March, and it will be every February now. And we're going to work on potential ways in which we can facilitate other flags that may come so that we aren't late again. Big news last council meeting was the cannabis ordinance discussion updates. So a couple things. We are reducing the taxes for the cannabis operators to be more in line with the other cities. We currently are the highest. We have extended our moratorium on new cannabis permits for 4 years. So, we were talking about doing a cap, which would have to be achieved to attrition anyway, because we're now at like 36. So we'll see what happens in 4 years and go from there. We also are allocating a percentage to a social equity program, which helps those who are disadvantaged enter the cannabis industry, but also we're going to allocate 1% of the tax to social good programs in our city. And we're not going to allow non-operational permits to renew. Couple other things. So we also added $1 million for our tenant-based rental assistance program. We started last year. And for those of you who don't know, this gives a few months of rent, electric, utilities, sometimes eviction fees to people who just need that to be able to keep their apartment. And without that, they would end up homeless. So they're working people, but they just, for some reason or other, they need this limited amount of help. We ended up helping 200 families already, and allocated almost all of our $1 million. So yeah, it's very sad, but it's actually a very effective program, and we're going to follow up, and we've just allocated another $1 million. It's called the Tenant-Based Rental Assistance Program. So the current 1 million is pretty much used up, and there's a few people waiting. Once this other one goes through, we'll allow more applications, and we have somebody at the city who handles that. It's also for sometimes, I think there's an option for people who need money to help get a deposit so they can get off the street or get into their own home. We also accepted, and the city, before I was on council, joined a lawsuit in the opioid settlement funds. For those of you who don't know, all the big pharmacies and distributors and manufacturers who caused this opiate, who helped cause the opioid problem, were sued for billions of dollars. And each city gets a sum of that. So over the next 10 years, we'll get about $3 million, and that'll go towards substance misuse harm reduction. That's like supplying the Narcan to the police and fire who have had to use it a lot. To look at rehabilitation, reentry. Some people just can't afford to stay in rehab units, which, going out on the street is a terrible option. And also tenant-based rental assistance for people going into sober living. Later this month, we're going to be talking about, we also hired a contractor for our zoning code update, which hasn't been updated in decades. Am I right, Scott?
30 years.
30 years. So this is the zoning code for the whole city. It's a huge project, and that's going on. Upcoming, the Starbucks at Racket Club, which and Palm Canyon, which City Council said, no, you can't do a drive-through. They're coming back with another plan for that. So we'll see. For those of you in the Little Tuscany, there is a project that's at 1875. It's where just down from Rick's, where they're looking at building 2-story townhouses. And they're talking to the neighborhood already, and they're going to bring that to planning soon. We are also looking at a mid-year budget update. And this, remember, last year was the first time we did a 2-year budget update. So every 6 months, we'll sort of look at that. We'll do this mid-year update, and then we'll do a end-of-year update. And we're also going to start working on a contractor for the College Park specific plan. And we're going to change the name College Park because nobody actually knows what that means, and it's not well defined. So that's part of the process, but it's really the northern end of Palm Springs to look at a specific plan for going forward. A couple other things that are coming up this town. So Modernism Week starts, as everybody knows, on Thursday. A lot going on. Tomorrow, Jacques Classin, who's one of the originators of Modernism Week, is getting a star. So that's good. We're opening an SBDC, a Small Business Development Center office in Palm Springs, which is great. I don't know if anybody is a business owner or knows other people. I will tell you, during COVID, it was very apparent that we did not have a Small Business Development Center to help do those kind of resources that they had in other counties. And the Black History events continue on all month. The Thursday night events at the Art Museum, I'd highly recommend. They're free. They're really a lot of fun. And then on the last week in February will be the parade and also the fair in the downtown park, which is really a lot of fun. And you'll also see we're starting on some community workshops on the Parks and Rec, the Parks Master Plan. So look out for that. I don't know, is the one next week set?
22nd.
22nd? It's set? Okay, it's on a hold. So I don't know where that is. Do you?
It's at the pavilion.
At the pavilion. So the plan is to try and get community input on what we need for our parks. And this is the first of a lot of outreach that's going to go on. So that is my update. I am happy to answer any questions. Yes.
Any news on Serena Park? We heard that maybe somebody was buying it.
It is up for sale. As far as I know,
What's the question?
Serena Park, which is the Palm Springs golf course. It's over between districts 1 and 2, basically, off the end of Farrell. And there was somebody who was going to do 300 housing units. They did not. They're now trying to sell it for a lot of money, which I think is too much. So I don't know that there is anybody really doing it. We have been stepped up our code enforcement because there has been some issues there, and we're going to keep the pressure on them to do that. Yes.
Any ideas about Racket Club?
The Historic Racket Club?
Yeah.
We just had this conversation, and my code enforcement is going to start getting much more proactively aggressive with them so that they know we're watching them, because we have not been. And we have very difficult time getting in touch with the actual owners.
Those women, yeah.
They
Well,
do,
you guys made it a historic
yes.
place, even though you couldn't get a hold of them. But they showed up for that meeting.
I know. And they keep putting us in touch with, and Scott and I have actually called them together. They put us in touch with their real estate broker.
That's saying, okay.
Yes.
Okay.
So my view is that if we put heavy pressure on the code enforcement, that it might start to get their attention, like, they have to do something. Yes, ma'am.
You mentioned after the picture, something at the Illuminaire house. Is that at the Palm Springs Art Museum site?
Yes, where the Illuminaire house is.
Okay, so it's
Yeah.
already there.
If you look, if you can go by it, you can see it. And
I was there, but I wasn't sure if the event was there.
the event will be in that parking lot and is sort of the celebration. Yes.
Any word on the Orchid Tree Church project? The plans is right on it, we submitted a few more times. Any word on it?
They have not. I am not holding my breath. They have given the city has given every final concession, and I don't know what the last deadline is to see they keep submitting things and they're on track for that, but I honestly don't think they will do it. I think they will end up selling at one point.
What are we talking about?
The Orchid Tree, which is the church that the historic building where there just happened to be 2 fires while they were holding on to the property. They came back and they wanted more concessions from the city. They said, if we can't get this, we're going to build a 6-story affordable housing unit, which obviously is not great, some of the neighbors' views, but the city was like, well, we need affordable housing. But I think it was their kind of a bad play at bluffing and riling up neighbors about something that was really not going to happen.
Fire Station 1, put it there.
Fire Station 1, yes. And that will be on the agenda in addition to the libraries looking at a bond for Fire Station 1 to redo sometime later this year. Yes. Yes. Soho House, they own the buildings. They own the O'Donnell, the Valerie, the Willows, and what used to be Colony 29. I think they have rethought their whole plan, and I think they're working back to coming back with something. Since they own the properties in Colony 29, they understand that it's not going to that they can't do things that will really upset the flow in the neighborhood. And their view is very much that they want to preserve our history and the buildings and integrate it throughout Palm Springs because all the buildings are separate. I will say it's Ron Burkle who bought all the properties. His chief, I'm not sure what his role is, the one who helped do the whole renovation of the Bob Hope House is giving a presentation at Modernism Week. And it's really kind of an interesting process if you have your chance. Yes.
The old COD SE property, is that still tied up in lawsuits? Or is there development? Because I know a developer.
They want to sell it. It is currently only zoned for education. We gave it to them to build it. And there is a possibility that there could be something worked out if they are moving forward with the campus.
Second question, the Navigation Center Community Advisory Committee. A couple of our neighbors are on that committee and have had trouble getting any responses, and there haven't been meetings. And with it coming up soon, they're kind of getting anxious and wanting to know what's going on. They have lots of questions, but they can't seem to get any answers.
They're scheduling the visitation meeting next week, 28th or 29th.
Yeah.
We're waiting to hear the date.
Okay, so they're scheduling that. It is planned the early entry to open in March, and with the main thing opening in the summer. So it's moving on track, but if they're having the visitation, that should address some of the concerns of silence.
Thank you.
Yes.
I missed out on it, and I wanted to ask, Desert Hospital, what's happening kind of with that?
They're still in negotiations. They have to, tenant, which wants to renew the lease and then have a chance to buy at the end, is still negotiating. They have to do a seismic refit by 2030 on that building, which is going to be a huge process. And it seems like the only way that they're going to get someone to do it is to know that they have a lease beyond the expiration of that continues in time. I think this is really a negotiation between the Desert Healthcare District and tenant. And obviously the city has a big concern because it's the top employer in our city and it's the only level 1 trauma center and it's an important asset. I shouldn't say asset to our city, but in general. So it's continuing. I've spoken to them. I'm not sure the latest on it.
I only asked because I heard Eisenhower is talking about doing some type of expansion in Palm Springs.
I'm not sure of their expansion plans. I mean, Eisenhower does have a significant presence here. And they have a number of different, with Rimrock and in on Palm Canyon and Sunrise. They have a lot of places here. So, I mean, the whole medical field is expanding pretty rapidly throughout the valley, which is really good news for us, and both as an economic indicator, but really for the residents and as employer. For those of you who don't know, the state did pass a minimum wage rule for all healthcare workers, people who work at healthcare facilities rather. So by 2026, I think it'll be $25 for everybody who works there, including grounds people, the food service people, custodian. So it's, which is sort of good for our region in terms of getting people better wages.
Is that strictly with healthcare?
Healthcare. Oh, well, I mean, there's other minimum wage laws, but there's a specific healthcare minimum wage law. Yeah. Anything else? Okay, thank you.
And next, our city manager.
Thank you, Chris. What I always do is I make a whole list of things I want to talk about, and then I know the mayor's going to cover most of them, and so I try to hit whatever's left over at the end. Just a couple of things. I do want to mention our fire chief is here, and he may mention this later on, but we're in full swing on planning for Fire Station 1. So we're in the middle of a big fire deployment study about where the logical place to build a new fire station is going to be. So we'll be working on that throughout the year, and we expect to come back to City Council probably sometime in the middle of this year, April, May, June, where we'll start talking about locations. So that's full swing ahead. On the navigation center and the neighborhood group, yes, I think we're going to be giving an early tour to that group of the navigation center. It's rapidly moving along. And then we're going to have, one of the notes that I wanted to make is we are working on an informational open house for anybody that wants to come and see some of the buildings and see what's going on there. We'll probably do that sometime in March. We haven't nailed down a date on that yet, but more to come on that. So you heard me mention, I think once before, I can't remember if I said this or not, but when I got here, one of the things that I learned was that we had a significant backlog of building permits. I think I've told the group this. We got here and we had a backlog of over 700 permits. And it was just unacceptable. And I was getting lots of complaints. My 5 bosses were getting lots of complaints. And they knew we had to get together and we had to attack this pretty rapidly. I'm happy to say that as of last month, that backlog of cases has been reduced from 700 to literally 0. Wow. So, we still have a lot of work to do, but the person who gets a lot of the credit for doing that is standing next to me. So this is Dana McAllister. He's our new chief building official. And I think a couple meetings ago, I brought in our assistant city manager and our 2 deputies. Kind of wanted to introduce all of you to some of our executive staff as we go through the year. Dana came to us from the Las Vegas Club Clark County area, so he knows a lot about solar permits and everything else. So he's well versed in that. We really attacked it by, number one, we hired Dana, who really put a lot of focus into it. We approved a lot of overtime. We hired some extra contractors to get after it. And we also had a new online permitting system. So that permitting system is online, but like a lot of software, it takes a little time for, frankly, our staff to get used to it, for the public and our contractors to get used to it. But we're really in a much better position now. And I think even our council members will acknowledge they're not getting all the complaints that they used to get. So it's really important to us. And I thought I'd maybe ask Dana, I know time is short, but maybe just give us 30 seconds about what goes on in your department, what you're involved in doing.
Yeah, so my department is responsible for handling all permit applications, reviewing those applications, issuing permits, and conducting inspections. So we're responsible for enforcing the state building code and local amendments as well. And the Energov system, which we're using, was implemented back in May. It's a great system. It's just we're still working the bugs out of it, but it allows you to apply online to basically do all your business online. So you can upload your plans, you'll have all your documentation, and you can even schedule inspections through Energov. So it's really great. And then we've also got some simple permits that we're trying to develop. We've got 3 of them currently, where you can actually apply online and then print up your permit after you pay. So don't even have to come into the office. Currently, we do that for solar permits, HVAC replacements, and for main panel upgrade swap outs. So usually that goes in conjunction with the solar installation. We're also working on a video inspection program. So we can start doing video inspections for smaller type projects. That way you don't have to wait around all day for an inspector. And we're just trying to make it all around more convenient to be able to do business with the city. So if anyone has any questions, all my contact information is on the website on the building and safety section. Please feel free to reach out by phone or email, and I'd be happy to talk with you. And if you run into any issues, certainly let us know. It's always hard to know what people are seeing on the other side. So getting the feedback is very valuable to us, so we can continue to make the system better.
What's your last name, sir?
Oh, McAllister.
McAllister.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dana. And if you're trying to identify that accent, it's not Philadelphia, it's Boston.
Boston, yeah.
Just a couple other real quick things. I know PD is here. They're getting ready to do a number of community listening sessions, I think, and probably our lieutenant will talk a little bit about that. So I won't steal his thunder. The mayor mentioned Modernism Week. We're excited about that. It's great for Palm Springs and all of our local businesses that, people are coming here from around the world, literally. I have some friends flying in who are architectural enthusiasts and city planners. And so really we can't underestimate the power of what this event does. We talked about the Parks and Rec Master Plan. It will be at the Pavilion. If you want to write this down just one more time, it's on February 22nd from 5:30 to 7:30, and that'll be at the Pavilion facility in Sunrise Park. So we'll be doing that. You may have noticed right in front of City Hall, we have some banners flying. City Hall is a voting center, a voting drop-off center. So, we're getting ready for the March 5th primary, and you can stop into City Hall anytime, Monday through Friday on regular working days, 7:30 to 5:30, and you can drop off your ballots at a secure location at City Hall. I did want to mention, I can't remember if Jeffrey mentioned this or not, but we do have our Black History Parade and Town Fair, which will be downtown. Coming up on February 24th at 11 a.m. So you can make note of that. Like I said, we talked a little bit about the Navigation Center, rapidly getting ready the first phase of it to come online, and more to come on that. And then the last thing I wanted to mention is really kind of a fun thing that might take some of you back a few years to a time where you could go to the airport, up to the gate, and you could welcome your guests and visitors coming right off the plane. So our airport started that program. You have to apply for it just like anything. Go to the airport website and you can get screened and you can go through security and you can go to the gate and you can welcome your guests who are flying here to beautiful Palm Springs, just like you did in 1960, maybe. Right. So anyway, I just wanted to mention that. It's kind of a fun thing that I think a lot of people are excited about. So that's it for me, unless there's any questions.
Thank you, Scott. We are running a little long on time, and I know the next several speakers will mind that. And we'll start with our police department, Lieutenant Villegas, right on stage. 29 seconds now.
All right. Hello. Hello, everyone. Wow, I think the breakfast buffet is going to open anytime soon right now. A few things to cover. So obviously this past weekend we got done with the Tour de Palm Springs. I want to say, talking to the traffic sergeant, special events sergeant, we had about 8,000 people in that event specifically. That's probably one of the biggest ones that we've hosted in several years. And obviously the weather wasn't cooperating with us, so they did a lot of pre-planning where they had to do alternate routes. And if you guys were here for the weekend, the alternate routes were leading out of the city this time, going through Dinah Shore. Typically, it goes out on Indian because Indian was closed due to the weather. Thank God everything worked out. We didn't have any significant incidents and no accidents, thank God, as a result. So it was a very successful event. Yes, I'll take the credit. Thank you. The other thing that we had that I'm very proud to speak about, if you guys recall, I had mentioned that Costa Rica was sending a lot of, they sent about 15 dignitaries consisting of, I guess the equivalent. So they operate as a national police agency. They don't have military. They don't have like, like local or county. Their national police covers everything, equivalent like FBI, DEA, part of the military. So for them to come out here and get exposed to how we operate as a community and as the police department, it was a great opportunity for them. And they took a lot of positive takeaways. Number one, the biggest thing for them was how we operate as a community together, our community policing philosophy, and how we work not just with the residents, with the businesses, with our city leaders, the 1PS neighborhood groups. They were in awe of how we operate, because I really truly take pride and honor in the relationship that we have in exemplary, not just for our city, but for the county, for the state, and for our country. And they really appreciated that. So I was able to present that. So of course it was awesome. We also spoke and talked about our SWAT, our Special Weapons and Tactics team. They do have some teams that are similar, but they, as far as equipment, vehicles, they didn't have a robot. So when we did the demo with a robot, they actually asked for us for information because they're thinking about purchasing a robot as well. So everything was great. And the final topic, they wanted to see how we do narcotics investigations at local, state, and federal levels. So they got to learn how we got to do that. And then we capped it off with taking them to the tram. So they enjoyed their stay. And better yet, I've been invited to go to Costa Rica and go take the trip. So as long as the chief cooperates, I'll get to go see how they do things out there. Next, as we were talking about, we have our town hall meetings. If you recall, when Chief Andy Mills came to Palm Springs, to get in touch with the communities, we had various town hall meetings. So we're going to come back, and starting on the 26th of February, we're going to start off with the north area. That's my area of command. That'll be at Raymond Cree, and going on to, let's see, the 27th, that'll be the business district. And all this info, we have a flyer, and then Denise, thank you for putting that email out. That information was sent out to the 1PS neighborhood groups. So please get in touch with your respective neighborhoods and see if you guys could send some representatives to go talk about some of the bigger accomplishments that we've had with not just crime, but also with the public nuisance issues, especially with our homeless. You guys, which I want to lead into it, but this last week we did a point and count. I don't know if you guys saw our press release. We had 130 transients in our city. I don't know if it was just a good day, but we went to the washes, we went to all the areas. So that's significant from where we were almost a year ago, where we had over 300 transients here in our city. We do have some numbers. I don't have them on me, but Lieutenant Hutchison, who oversees our impact team, with either successful stories of reuniting some of the transients with their families, getting them help. So we've done a great job. Why that is important, obviously, we're talking about our navigation center that's going to open in March. They're going to start with 55 beds. So those 55 beds are going to be reserved strictly for Palm Springs homeless people. We are going to be the first ones to get them help and get them situated. Yes, absolutely. Our chief has also spoken with our neighboring agencies. The way it's supposed to go, they need to contact us, our police department, if they're out thinking about bringing their homeless to our city to get help. So there's a lot of layers to this, and once we have this meeting, hopefully in early March, we can answer more questions. So we're definitely preparing for that. I'll try to keep it short. Does anybody have questions? All right. So thank you again for all the support. Yes.
Two things, sorry.
Yeah.
The last meeting, there was a question about KFC, update on that area, and also Bel Air Greens.
Do you remember what KFC specifically?
Just
They were closing down.
closed, and there's people concerned about safety and security in the area.
Well, we can do close patrols. The question was about KFC, what we're doing, because they closed down. When we did our point and count time, there wasn't many transits hanging out there because there's no business. With regards to the Bel Air Greens, we were talking about that because we are aware of the loot acts that are occurring on the property. We're going to put out a press release, again, notifying the community that it is illegal to conduct loot activity in public, right? Now that's a very, it's a tough subject because we do not go into that private property, for us to do the enforcement necessary to prevent it. There's an educational piece to this, and people got to police themselves as well, right? So we are going to increase our close patrols there. We've recently deployed a trailer with cameras to deter people from engaging in that activity in that area. So if you drive El Cielo, you'll see this trailer with lights and cameras on there. So that's been a deterrent for us as well. But above all, we have to make sure that people understand that that's not acceptable behavior to do that in public. Yes, Chief.
If I can just comment on both of those things, KFC and the other one. We actually contacted the managers at KFC, the owners of the property, and they gave permission to the person sleeping under the awning to be there. So we don't have any authority to kick this person off the property. So we went out there and talked with them again today. I talked to some of our officers, and this guy's supposed to be gone tomorrow. But once they get a standing there, it's tough for us to do anything. So we are working on the area. I know we've made probably 10 arrests in the last week in the area. So they're working on it really hard, doing what we can. As far as El Cielo goes, I was just out there today and looking at the trailer, and so we're putting out the press release that just went out, and our goal is to educate, prevent, and then if we have to, at some point down the road, enforce. I'd rather not do that. I'd rather people to just behave like adults. To behave well. Everybody can use the area. And so that's where we are. And then one last thing. Can anybody tell me how many murders we had last year? 0. You're the first one. Here's the first challenge point for the department. So if you ever see me in a bar and give us, man, I can buy you a beer.
Everybody good? Yes. Chief, thank you very much. Appreciate it. Thank you guys again.
Fire, you're on deck. Danny, you want to tag team? Maybe manage time there.
I'll be.
Oh, the chief, forgive me.
That 30-second rule here.
Hey, we're going to make it quick, everybody. Chris and Kate, thank you for giving us some time to speak today. Kate, and I had a special speaker for you to follow up on the Vaughn's fire that we were talking about. But guess what? You guys heard the fire engine race by? He was in the fire engine going to a full arrest. Someone's doing CPR on him right now. So we're hoping they come back, but Engineer Benelli oversees our fire investigation program. So I wanted him to kind of give everyone a little bit of an insight into how we conduct those investigations, work with our police department, and find out the cause of those fires that happen. But I just want to touch a little bit on some success that we had. And the mayor didn't mention this, but the mayor and council approved new apparatus for our fire stations, new fire engines, a new fire truck that we so badly need. And I'll tell you what an honor it is for a fire chief to work for a city that really puts public safety as a priority. And they're proving it in every decision they make. So, you know, big hand for the mayor and the council. Now, normally, like Scott says, the mayor handles all these things. He covers them all in his update. So thank you for letting me provide that, Mayor. Over 100 feet, yeah, 105 feet. And we're going to need it. We talk about all the building that's going on there in the city. We're going to need it. Great decision. I appreciate that vote. And then just talking about some of the challenges, you also mentioned the opioid settlement. I'm very thankful the council gave me the opportunity to speak in front of the group at council last week. I don't know if everyone knows, but last year in 2003, the Palm Springs Fire Department responded to 175 overdoses, calls for emergency services, for our paramedics to respond out. A significant number for our size community. But even more important than that was the life-saving medication we were able to provide. 101 times we administered Narcan. That's life-saving medication. So couldn't be more proud of our people, our troops that are out in the stations doing that work. But what I shared with the group is a third of my organization has about a year on the job. They're brand new. I've been doing a lot of hiring. So the education and training is critical for my people. So I'm hoping that some of those funds, those settlement funds, are used to help me educate and train my paramedics, provide the very best service. And that's what you deserve. So thank you for that. I appreciate it. And I'm going to pass it over. I think I went over my time allotment. Yeah, Skyberg.
Yeah, I'm going to pass the mic as well. Engine One's going to come down here so we can give an update to that fire that we had about a month and a half ago. So they're en route right now.
So I'll be short as well. February is National Canned Food Month. So if you don't have an emergency kit at your house, February is a good opportunity to go get some canned food, put in your emergency stock. I have a flyer for April's community emergency response team training. Registration online is full. So if you know anybody that's interested, have them email me direct. It's a thing with Eventbrite and caps for free tickets. So I have it on here. Big red arrow, email me directly. I have 15 seats for Palm Springs. I'm going to leave these with Denise. Denise is going to get the information out. And now we'll sit here and stare at each other until Engine One shows up.
Any questions that we can answer?
I'd like some help finding a fire alarm for people that are getting older and hard of hearing. Oh, answer, but that's the Red Cross, they have shakers for you. Put it under your bed and it shakes it.
Danny talked about that not too long ago.
Yeah, so the Red Cross does come out. We had them, a couple months ago they came out and installed, they do it for free. But mostly it's the smoke detectors, but they'll come out if you reach out to them. They're going through a transition right now. 3 of their directors for the desert have sought employment elsewhere. There's a huge shortage of volunteers for the Red Cross across the Coachella Valley. They actually lost their 10,000 or 100,000 square foot storage. So they've been finding random places to store stuff. So it's really hard. So if you want to volunteer for the Red Cross, reach out to them as well. But yeah.
So there's no income on, when you presented that before, I thought that was just for low income.
That particular project was specifically for mobile homes, and we try to get them out once a year, every other year to reach out to those communities. That would be a different project. I'll get you my contact information.
Yeah, thank you, because I've been astounded at the lack of information.
Right there.
Me?
Good. Thank you all. Appreciate it. All right, wrapping up soon here. LP, have anything? Oh, wow. Let the record show. And Denise, you had a report?
Just a quick, I guess, I hear from you.
Yep. The YouTubers want to hear you.
YouTubers. First of all, I want to introduce a new employee that just started 2 days ago. We're so excited to have him. It's Benji I, and he's our marketing and communication specialist. And he's going to help us out so much. Social media, outreach, video. He's great. He's like, we loved him. We interviewed him. Amy and I are like, we're not talking to anybody else. Take this man right now. So thank you for being here. And Shan wanted me to announce that, okay, we're on Lip Sync Competition 2024, July 7th at Camelot Theater. And we're looking forward to that. And we're going to look for some more people to volunteer because I can't reprise Dolly. Oh, Scott, you want to do it? Do it. Come on, duet. Why don't you guys do a duet? We're trying to get Lisa and Ron to do a duet. I love it. All right, that's all I have.
Well, too bad Shan left. That is a huge coup. Thank you for negotiating that. That's a great event. Okay, public comments. Any public left to comment? All right. Next meeting.
We didn't get the sign-in sheet on this side of the room.
Okay, where's that clipboard? It's over here. Please don't leave without signing. Okay, we'll see you in March, and thank you for being here. Good night.